Come on. Change colors. There it goes.
Ding.
And there was a ding at the same time. That was good timing.
Wow.
Not me. I did not do that.
All right, let's see here. If you would like to keep, well, it's in the afternoon, the air conditioning running. If
For
we
another hour.
if we'd logged on in the morning, it would be a heater. If you want to keep the air conditioning running, subscribe to the blank or send money here. I hate this thing. All right. Remembering that we have a coffee anthology, 2 coffee anthologies out with these guys.
Hey, 2.
At 2. Also, if you check with them, you might see a bit of a surprise. Let them know you heard about it here. Bit of a surprise.
Sign up for their newsletter.
Sign up for the newsletter.
Newsletter is hilarious.
Oh, sign up for their newsletter. If you are a fan of anything, sign up for the newsletter. If you like smart-ass t-shirts, tinyurl.com Among the Leaves Tees, run by a friend of ours. Also, let them know you heard about it here.
Yep.
Howdy from the rainy state. Howdy.
Yeah, they're getting they are getting rain out there.
Good on them. We got our rain earlier.
Somebody was commenting to me earlier today about, well, you guys got slammed pretty good. And I went, no, we didn't. As usual, it went around us.
We got some rain, but
We got 2.25 inches.
3 by my,
3?
yeah.
Okay.
Over the 3 days. So
Over
it
the 3
wasn't a-
days.
the first night in Wichita, they got 5.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got 3 over 3
Yeah,
days.
well, I'm just as happy to have gotten 3 over 3 days, because 5 on 1 day is flooding.
Well, the next day they got 2.75 inches in Wichita Falls.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Alma was saying they'd gotten 5 or 7 inches.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not that we can't use more, but not
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
My
issue.
backyard flooded as it was.
It's not getting rain here that's the issue. It's getting rain west southwest of us.
Yeah.
That's where our watershed is. It's
Yep.
west
Mhm.
southwest. And if you get a toad strangler out there, that's when we flood.
Yeah.
We won't see any rain. It'll hit west southwest of us. And just a cow whiz on flat rock rain, and it all comes through here.
Yeah.
And that's when we start getting flooding.
Hey, Differ, sorry to hear that.
No hoof rats. Oh well.
Actually, a friend of ours' daughter got her first one.
Yes. Matt Guest's daughter got her first nice, good-looking buck.
6 point. I don't
Well,
think that was
excellent.
Rupert.
No, Rupert would have 8 by now, 8
Yeah.
or 10. Rupert was like 6 years ago.
Dog is back to her goofy self after indulging in Halloween candy.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, I heard about
Hydrogen
that.
Sarah,
peroxide.
I don't even want to think about a dog being on a sugar high.
If you have a
Well, it
dog,
was the chocolate she was worried
if you have a
about.
dog, you need to have a fresh bottle of hydrogen peroxide with you at all times. We have Rita. We both like dark chocolate in our hot chocolates, and we've got it's that brown thing about Yay Baked. It's chocolate powder. I forget who makes it. Anyway. We had a box of the special dark chocolate, and Mochi, the terror, got a hold of it
Human
somehow
garbage disposal.
and ate the entire unopened thing of special dark chocolate. And we shot, allegedly, you only have to put 1 syringe full of hydroperoxide down a dog's throat. It took, I think, 3 or 4 times before she started puking up. And Hershey or Nestle's special dark
I
chocolate
think it
powder.
was Hershey's.
And she puked up almost the entire box. And if we'd have left that in her, that wouldn't. For those of you who don't know, theobromine, which is the active ingredient in chocolate, is a neurotoxin for dogs.
Actually, we do have something good to say. I do anyway. And of course, I have to cough. Sorry. We do have a new destroyer online as of Saturday, the DD 17122 USS John B. Basilone. And the reason that Basilone is such an interesting one is he is the only Marine to ever win both the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross.
Really?
Oh,
And he was killed on Iwo Jima, sadly,
Oh dear.
but he had won it for Guadalcanal. And I think he won the Navy Cross on Iwo Jima.
Wow.
But 122 is underway with a commissioning crew.
Outstanding.
So,
Probably going to be a little busy
yeah.
here in a bit.
Well, and the stupid is just, I mean, of course, this is the military, so that's kind of a typical statement. Even though we're doing away with the little crappy ships, they have decided to fund a special missile for them. Why? Nobody freaking knows. Because it won't fit any other class ship. Anyway, don't get me
Joel,
started.
I mean, we have a scientist here, so she may correct me on this. But I believe that theobromine is actually a neurotoxin for everybody. It's just that the LD50 for humans is huge enough that it doesn't bother us.
dogs are very sensitive to it. Dogs are not as sensitive to it as gets made out a lot. Some dogs are probably more sensitive to it than others, but it can cause a heart attack just by overstimulation. Theobromine stimulates the human system. It overstimulates the canine system. So
Considering how much chocolate I know some females of the persuasion eat, I'm not surprised they're over caffeinated.
So coffee has both caffeine and theobromine in it,
Mhm.
and good coffee has more theobromine. Hence those cocoa notes we're all looking for.
Yeah.
Especially the African coffee. The African coffees are high in theobromine.
So that's what for good coffee you're looking for, that nice chocolatey note, because you're getting two stimulants.
As TC said, Vet told us decades ago, milk chocolate, not as much of a concern. After the corgi ate an entire bag of Halloween candy.
We had, growing up,
Uh,
one of our best dogs when I was a child was named Niger. We had named Niger. We'll leave it there. He was half black Labrador and half Doberman Pinscher. He was an absolute unit. That dog was, and he was a very athletic dog. He loved chocolate. When we got stateside and we had to bring Niger with us, and we weren't leaving Niger behind, we left everything else behind. Annoyed the crap out of me. We brought Niger. I remember coming into the living room one Halloween night, and Chris had this velour hoodie, very black velour hoodie, and he loved that thing. And he had the pocket stuffed with Halloween candy.
oh, jeez.
And I walked in there, and this huge black dog, and Niger was an absolute unit. He was ears deep in Chris's kangaroo pocket, just chomp, 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 chomp. And chocolate never bothered him. Of course, he was like 85 pounds of love too.
Yeah.
Real chocolate Hershey's. This was the powdered special dark. It was all chocolate. It was the powdered special dark edition.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was good. There's a certain bitterness to really good chocolate that weirdos like us enjoy.
Trying to remember what was going to get made out of that.
Well, that's a good question.
It was going to be a dessert for something.
Yeah, we had 3 of them. I was using one of them to make hot chocolate out of.
Oh, that's hilarious, TC. Did you mean to send your daughter to lunch with a lunch bag full of candy? Me, no. No wonder she insisted on packing her own lunch.
Yep.
Humans,
Smart kids.
Yeah.
like, okay, nicotine. Nicotine was developed so that bugs wouldn't eat the leaves.
Yep.
So much for that idea. Capsaicin.
There are. So I recently got into a conversation about pesticides. But aside from that, the whole thing about natural being better for you is that we humans consume a lot of natural pesticides.
Yeah.
And we really like theobromine, caffeine,
Nicotine.
nicotine. And not necessarily that they're good for us in excess,
But why the hell do I get chewed up if I'm eating pesticides all the damn time?
because you're not plant. You don't synthesize them into your leaves.
We are being snuck up on by Rita. My dad, when we were in Nigeria, my dad would go around every time. Mom had plants everywhere. She didn't grow plants. She had plants that were, even in Africa, Mom had difficulty growing plants. And Dad would go around. This may be the reason she had a problem growing plants. Dad would go around and drop and break open a cigarette in the standing pools of water that her plants were in, because it killed the mosquito larvae.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and nicotine was very commonly used in gardens up until, well, actually, it might still be, I don't know, but you could get liquid nicotine, which was highly toxic, and use it for spraying on your plants in the gardens.
Yeah.
The common
Joel wants to
English
know what's the
behavior.
third stimulant in the caffeine and theobromide family that tea has.
Caffeine.
Tea has caffeine in it. Is he thinking of like yerba mate, which
No.
has guarine, not guarine. But yeah, there's another stimulant drink that you can get that's more South American.
Not on tomatoes. That's because tomatoes are from
Tomatoes are in the nightshade family.
nightshade family.
Yeah.
There's solanum. They have solanine in them, and solanine is also very toxic. The different nightshades process it out in different ways. So, like, you wouldn't want to eat tomato leaves; they would make you sick. But a tomato is not going to affect most people.
Well, potatoes have nightshade
Yes.
alkaloids in them.
Yes, and if you have a green potato, it has a higher solanine content,
Yeah.
which might upset your stomach. It's unlikely to actually poison you.
Yeah. Oh, John is having one of those days. Just discovered the editor at XXX decided that belt, as a descriptor of a place where a series is located, wasn't good enough. So they stuck in the name of a belt, but they stuck it in the Kuiper belt.
Wait a minute. It's the asteroid belt. Yes, yes, Liz, you do see Rita. She's sneaking up on us.
Slowly coming into sight.
Mysterious appearance. You know.
Sneak,
Mhm.
sneak, 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 sneak.
And when she goes away, all that'll be left is a smile.
With that dress? Yes, absolutely.
Rita. Everybody says Rita hi.
People, hi. Chicken good.
Chicken, good.
Actually, I came in because you said hot chocolate, and I thought, I believe in miracles. Where you from? You sexy thing, you sexy thing. You. That's your song for the day. That's my favorite hot chocolate. What's yours? Anyway.
So recently, and cover your ears, Jim, I have been taking my coffee in the morning. I have a big container of Dutch processed cocoa powder.
Okay.
And so I'll put a teaspoon of that in the coffee and a sprinkle of the Café Hawaj that you gave me. And my usual cream, and then coffee. And what I get is this like spicy mocha. It's really nice.
Okay, I want to try that.
No sugar, because I'm not doing sugar, but it doesn't need sugar. It's got
Yeah.
flavor.
You know what? I went up to last week. I took an artist date for myself. Went up to Lawton, went to the fabric store and stuff, and I went to the Indian place by myself. And they had chai, but when I get my chai tea at an Indian place, I want that little scummy film of spices and
Yes. That was a little more break law dog than we usually do.
No killing Ian on screen.
Scummy film. I mean, that's part of. I want it on the spoon, and I'll lick the spoon. What?
So much spiciness.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right, baby. That's not your fault. So, I guess you didn't get the scummy film this time?
No, it was just. I mean, they had a like. Yeah, it was just naked on top.
Aw.
Disappointing.
I was
Aw.
disappointed, but
I'm
anyway.
sorry.
You'll
It's
get a little
okay.
gasoline. You can get yourself a nice film on top.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it reminds me of your stories about avgas in the water on the
Yeah.
ships.
Stealing it for us.
I would imagine that making tea or coffee with that was unpleasant.
We never made tea. Everybody made coffee.
Well, yes.
Now,
She's giggling. This ought to be good.
The Brits and the Aussies, on the other hand, every compartment on the ship had a teapot in it. I mean, every compartment. Weirdest thing I ever saw. And we had a couple of their guys come on one of our boats. We happened to be out with them. And they're going, where's the tea service? It's in the mess. It's on the mess decks. You mean you don't have tea in every compartment? No, we have coffee on the mess decks. That's where you go to get your coffee. But where do you have the tea? We don't.
You call yourself civilized.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
So what were you giggling
I
about?
came up with this Zen koan because I realized this is to my horror. I'm channeling Blood Batter Beast of Trawl because apparently I was somewhere in the public recently reading and I don't know um this is horrific. I'm so sorry. You're going to judge me for this. And anyway, I probably shouldn't tell you, but anyway, it's like a Zen koan almost. I was reading and I was listening to stuff on YouTube on my phone. I had my noise canceling headphones in, and I realized at some point, someone, okay, it was me. Someone belched. It was a protracted, like never-ending belch. And I wondered, if I can't hear it, then does it really make a noise? It's like if a tree falls in the forest. If I can't hear it, did I really make a noise belching? And I must have been like, I'm sure I seem like this horrid rustic country person. Well, not that that's
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
anyway. So I probably belched very operatically publicly recently. And then like a couple of minutes when I realized I'm in public. Oh,
Well.
crap.
Better that than a fart.
Okay, yeah, there's that.
The way you started that out, I was thinking Blood Batter Beast and Beyond.
You know, yeah, there you go. There you go.
Another title.
Well,
for you.
I mean, the Blood Batter Beast is it's in the Hitchhiker's Guide,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
he's a creature so stupid that he believes if he can't see you, then you can't see him.
Yeah.
So that's why you carry your towel so you can throw it over his head, and maybe he won't kill you.
Yeah. Like
Anyway,
every dog and cat in the world.
yeah.
Yes,
Anything that
and
could
some
get-
bears. I've seen pictures of the bear behind this tree that's like this, and the bear's sticking out on each side.
Yeah, but you don't see the head. and
You
the
don't
face.
see its head, and it
Yeah.
can't see you, so it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, cats are definitely worse.
Now, if in a box you can't see me, yeah.
Yeah.
Blood
Even if
Batter-
the box is that big and the cat's that big.
Uh-huh.
and now you know why I'm so charmed by Rita.
Yeah.
This is not something she does. This is just there's Rita.
This is life with Rita, yes.
Well, better that than some of the idiocy we're seeing right now.
Oh my God. Oh my
I mean,
God.
these blue women, I cannot believe they are that mentally disturbed. A, that they actually believe what they're saying, and B, that they're cutting their hair, they're turning themselves blue or painting themselves blue. They're going to all these extremes, and it's not going to change a damn thing.
No.
What's going to happen on the 21st of January when nobody comes to put them in a relocation camp? Then what are they
They'll
going to
find
do?
another way to get the attention they so
Well,
badly crave.
Again, this
But if they're not paying the rent now,
Nah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
that has other consequences.
I mean, there are literally some of them out there doing just that.
Because
Swearing off men. Hell, they couldn't get a man in the first place.
Yep. Again, with their seeking attention.
Yeah.
They're seeking attention, and a lot of them seem to have
Well,
Narcissistic personality
Well, the
disorder.
mental disorders is
I would like to point out very gently, apropos of nothing, that the Texas Penal Code says that if 2 or more people decide to do something, and one of them commits an act in furtherance,
Yeah.
then everybody's got conspiracy.
Yep.
So if you are on Twitter, whatever the hell it's called, or TikTok, whatever, and you and 3 of your girlfriends talk about making an ancient Italian poison, and one of them buys the poison, component of the poison, congratulations, everybody's got conspiracy to murder charge.
Yep.
That's all it takes.
Of course, they don't realize that, and they'll say, "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it."
Well, ignorance of the law,
Yeah.
as they say, is no excuse.
Yep.
Interesting.
Of course, the other thing that I'm cracking up over are the cabinet posts.
it has been
Oh my God.
amusing. Someone was talking about how it's like watching first round draft for football picks,
Yeah.
which is not far off. I mean, I never was that into football, but I could see that kind of energy and excitement.
Yeah.
And just waiting for another one to drop so that we can. And,
Wow.
and some of the choices have just been, and it's amusing to watch
Oh, no kidding.
Oh,
X meltdown over things like they want who to be the Department of Defense, and when you actually look into what the guy has done,
Yeah.
That's the thing is it's Pete
Hegseth.
Hegseth.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name.
I keep thinking hedgehog.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Poor man.
And it's all of the twittards. The Twitter tards are that's because Trump likes watching Fox News.
Yeah.
The man's a 20-year vet. He's had at least 2 deployments downrange.
Retired lieutenant colonel.
No, Major.
There is
No,
a
Major.
really, really nice photo of him circulating online.
Oh, that's driving people nuts. I wouldn't have done this, but he's got a Crusader cross tattooed on his chest.
Oh no, that's not the one I'm talking about.
And
he did a
Deus-
swim with the seals.
Oh, and Deus Volt
Yeah.
on his bicep. And holy
We
God.
the people on the other one.
He was on Sean Ryan's podcast
Mhm.
a while back, and I went back and watched it because Sean's podcast interviews tend to run a couple of hours.
And he
apiece.
tends to get a little daft.
Well, that too, but he interviews some interesting people, and I tend to listen to them at like 1.5, so I can get through them. But I went back and I was listening to at least some of his interview with Hegseth.
Yeah.
And he is very devoutly Christian. They moved to Tennessee so their kids could be in a school that
Yeah.
they felt would be best support for
Well, good
their
on him.
education and their faith. So he
Good on
is. It doesn't surprise me at all with the tattoos because.
Yeah.
Um,
But the other thing is, he made a statement a number of years ago about not believing in women in combat
mhm.
for valid reasons.
Yes. No, there are very valid reasons. And I say this as a woman who had every intention of going into the military.
Yeah.
And I didn't because I lost my mind and wound up having kids, which no regrets there. But I had intended to go into the Air Force. I would have been 3rd generation
Yeah.
Air Force. And I spent a good chunk of my childhood with the Civil Air Patrol and preparing to go into the military.
Yeah.
And I also think that women in combat is a very bad idea. Women in support, I mean, we can do that.
Yeah.
But even support sometimes winds up where they shouldn't be at the wrong time. And
Jessica, what's her name, in Iraq? She was maintenance.
I don't know.
Truck driver.
That one
Truck
I'm
driver?
not familiar with. But there's
She was captured during
Jessica Lynch.
Was it Jack Lynch. Okay.
Yeah.
She was captured, and it was a big rescue effort on it.
Yeah.
well,
I was worried
that's-
because she
that's-
was captured in a bad place.
and bad things happen, and
Oh yeah.
that is why women probably shouldn't be in combat because you're distracting.
Yeah.
What they're calling war fighters, but you're distracting your warriors.
Yeah.
By having the females there. I mean, the whole thing with the biological urges is not wrong either, but in actual combat on the ground, The warriors are going to be splitting their attention between what they need to be doing and trying to make sure that they protect the female in
Yeah,
their midst.
it's not just that, and Cedar's got a very valid point. But my issue is, as a for instance, on an M3 Bradley, you've got 2 scouts in the back that should not be in the back. They should be out doing scout stuff.
Yeah.
And a three-person crew. Now let's say I have a driver and I have a female gunner or a female driver and me. When you throw a track,
Yep.
and you're gonna throw a track.
Yeah.
Yep.
The track on a tracked vehicle is tons.
Yeah.
And it's you and hand tools, and it's got to be changed now. It is hard enough with 3 knuckle dragging morons changing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine changing it with 2 knuckle draggers and a female, or 2 females and 1 knuckle dragger.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is that the standards, the physical standards, is an issue. But I'm more talking about the just the emotional of this
Yeah.
is why it's a bad idea, because that's hardwired into. And even now, even as hard as they've been trying for the last few generations to beat that out of, so that boys are trying to defend girls because girls can take care of themselves.
Yeah.
Which gets back to that physical difference of girls sometimes need some help because we just don't have
Well,
the oomph.
And I forget how much the 242 Bushmaster weighs. That's a heavy chunk of iron, and that's the main gun on Bradley.
Yeah.
And when the driver's running PMCS, and the tank commander is doing or the track commander is doing what he needs to be doing, and the gunner's hauling that, and it is, I forget, that's a heavy chunk. And the gunner's got to unass that thing from the mount when you're breaking down or loading up a track.
Well, and women tend to, just the way we're structured, our build is, we just don't have the ability to get.
You don't have the
body
physical upper
Yeah.
body strength.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I got to look. I used to know the stats because I had to.
Sean brings up a good point. We've got an A04 for SecDef, an 05 for DNI, and an 06 for National Security Advisor.
And an E4 in the White House.
And
And an
E4 in the
A4
White
White House, yeah. So maybe the military will get a little fucking respect for a change and some goddamn
No, it
budget.
won't. No, it won't.
And the left is literally going batshit nuts over all of them.
Well, the really interesting thing there for me is statistically, if you look at the percentage of military or retired military just having served in the general population, we are at an all-time low. Yet statistically, we're looking at an all-time high in representative there, which is fascinating.
262 pounds total.
Yeah, see, 262 pounds is over my capacity to lift, and I was not a weak woman back in the day when I was running the farm.
Well, even as a TPI, 2-person integrity lift, you're not going to find many females that can lift half of that.
Well, and that's the thing
I
is,
could have bucked half of it back in the day, not anymore, but
yeah, James Copley. Hey, James, 242 is friggin' heavy. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the thing is if she can't pull her weight, literally, and when you're talking about little tiny ladies that are like 95 pounds soaking wet, they're not going to be able to lift more than their body
And I'm
weight.
here to tell you, ain't not a lot of room in an M3 turret.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you're lifting weirdly. You can't get in the right stance and squared off with it.
what I find to be interesting is
242 barrel is 107
107 pounds. What I find interesting is that, let's say Brendan Herrera, who's got apparently pretty good shot at being ATF director.
Yeah.
Yes. Matt Getz
is
Matt
AG.
Getz is AG. Has been nominated for Attorney General.
Not confirmed.
Not
Keep
confirmed.
in mind
Nobody's
that
been
all these
confirmed yet.
nominations are subject to confirmation. But even if he gets some of them through,
Matt Getz was the one who introduced the abolish the ATF bill in Congress last year. It's like, man, and then you've got Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk running rampant.
Yeah.
God bless them.
the glee.
Yeah. And they're doing it for free. They're not even going to draw
They're doing it
salaries.
for fun.
Yeah.
Free heck. They're doing it for fun.
They're not drawing salaries, are they?
No.
They don't need to.
And they are, oh my God. Yeah. They are just, and God bless them. And apparently, if I get this right, they don't need to be nominated. They're going
Nope.
to be consultants.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so there's a couple of things going on with that. One, that they've pointed out that a lot of what they're going to be reducing is stuff that's illegal. The Supreme Court Chevron decision.
Right.
And two, they intend to be done with this in about 2 years.
Yeah.
Their goal is to be done by July 4th, 2026.
And that's Elon. And Vivek Ramaswamy, God bless him.
Elon's got a ship to catch.
Yes.
Right. He's got to go home.
Yeah.
Vivek he strikes me as a very ethical person.
Yeah.
So if he says that he wants out by July 4th, both he and Elon, if they say that, they're going to be out by July 4th.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing with Vivek there is he probably intends to run for office again. And if it's going to be midterm elections time, he wants to be able to get into that and not be tied up with those.
Yep. Well, quite honestly, I would love to have a Ramaswamy Vance ticket in 4 years.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing to see.
But and they were going. The two of them, they tag teamed. I think Pocahontas.
Yeah.
They were because she got stupid. Because what else is new?
Yeah.
And they were tag teaming her. Those guys are smart. I would not go up against those two.
No.
But they had a list of stuff of money going to dead people, like $107 billion going to dead people.
Yeah, out of Medicare and Medicaid.
Wow.
And the problem is, they knew about it. They just didn't do anything about it. Because it was too hard to claw it back.
If we can get out in the next 2 or 4 years with a considerably lessened federal government, I will be so happy.
Yeah.
I'll be so happy.
Yeah, even if they can only do a fraction of what they're talking about now, it'll still be a big help.
Yeah.
It may be, and you're right, Dan, it may be coming down to recess appointments. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, the next Democrat to get in will just reverse it all.
Yeah.
But it'll be good for a while.
Yeah, and Cash Patel at CIA. Oh.
Turfing all of the executive branch offices out to the states.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of those little bug snipes will quit on their own.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
And the other thing that's going on, though, is the Dems are preloading a bunch of laws, not EOs, but laws now.
Right. Which is
shortcut what Trump wants to do.
Right. Which is what should have been done in the first place. And that's why the Chevron decision was such the big thing of it is that if Congress actually wants this stuff to be done, they have to pass the law.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
quit hiding behind.
So now what they're trying to do is shove all these laws through.
Right.
That will negate everything Trump's planning to do.
Right.
They've got less than a month to do it, and Congress doesn't pass laws in less than a month.
Yeah, and it's one of those things of yes, they're doing that, and yes, it's a concern, and it should be a concern. But the whole point of this was to start wiping away some of that extra illegal stuff that's been done over all these decades.
I would love to see.
I don't think they're going to touch a bit of that, though. That's the problem I have with it.
I would love to see the FBI headquarters in San Antonio.
I'd love to see the UN anywhere but in New York.
I'd love to see UN in Geneva where it belongs.
Yeah.
or Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
The Swiss would come looking for us.
Oh, I know. Port-au-Prince, Haiti. You want to help the downtrodden? Here you go, Haiti.
You can't even fly a commercial airliner into Haiti without getting shot at
Isn't it
anymore.
great?
The U.S. FAA
Makes me feel
has banned any U.S. airline from flying into Haiti.
Justifiably so. Those planes are not built for that.
It makes me feel homesick.
Gunfire on short final. Oh, it must be Tuesday.
Oh, look, it's a Tuesday. No, it's transfer. Send the UN to Haiti or hell, I don't care. South Africa, don't care.
Damn, hamburger is $30 for 10 pounds.
What the
Different.
hell?
What are you buying? 4% fat or something?
$30 for 10 pounds, $3 a pound.
$3 a
That's
pound.
not
That's,
a
not,
bad
that's
price.
actually not bad.
Yeah. Jesse, phrasing, re flying a plane into the UN. Yes, phrasing.
Higgs says this had 2 Bronze Stars. I didn't see a V on the Bronze Stars, so he points that out. But he still got them.
Yeah.
Which is considerably more than Pocahontas got or Tim Walls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, difference. Don't buy meat at Walmart. Just don't.
Yeah.
You've got to have a local butchery somewhere near you.
She might not. They live pretty rural.
Yeah.
Also, her budget may not stand to it.
$65 for a brisket? Fuck
What?
that.
How big
Yeah.
of a brisket?
Well, $65 for a 20-pound brisket's not impossible.
No.
It's certainly outside the prices I've seen it around here.
Brisket's trash meat.
Not
What?
anymore.
It used to be 99 cents a pound.
I have
Used to be
never seen
69
it that
cents a
low.
pound.
And right now it's running somewhere between $3 and $4 a pound, which is why I haven't bought one recently.
The last brisket I priced in Itchy Paw was $7.69 a pound.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't surprise me.
Remember in 2016, I bought that 17 pounder and it was $14.50.
Yep.
I first started doing briskets in 1995, and it was 69 cents a pound on
So,
sale. Usually 99 cents.
I mean, 2 things. One, briskets are really popular right now with the people that do smoke and fire and cook.
Yeah.
And 2,
$65 for a 7-pound brisket?
okay, that's ridiculous. And 2, beef is just very expensive right now because we've had some issues we had the big storms and whatnot and lost a lot of beef cattle.
Yeah.
Fires.
Fires.
See, this is the thing I'm excited about is that if some of Trump's appointees can get in there and straighten out the USDA, and we can get local slaughterhouses
Mhm.
and raise our meat and stuff locally.
Yeah.
Joel Salatin was tapped for advisor to the guy that's running the USDA, whose name escapes me off the top of my head, which got me all excited because I've been following Salatin's stuff for quite a while.
Yeah.
And he's the one that started really using the phrase eat local. So if we can actually see some of the USDA's stranglehold come off of our
and FDA.
production of food here in the country, then maybe we'll start to see less importation of meat and stuff from China and other places.
I was talking to the old boy at Whitaker's. And if the USDA would, I'm not going to use the phrase he did, would turn loose of certain organs, he'd actually start up a butchery.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that so much of this goes back to Upton Sinclair, who flat out lied and made up
Yeah.
fairy tales. So
It's amazing how many of those.
mm,
It's amazing how many of those policy generating and government changing books that changed mass industries turned out to be flat out lies. But
Yeah.
do go on.
no, I mean, I'm with you. Silent Spring
Silent
was written
Spring.
by an undergraduate who didn't fully understand what she was talking about, and millions of people died
Yeah.
because of her. But that's the thing, which is our food is more expensive than it has to be. It's lower quality than it has to be because we can't just take control of it locally.
Well, and that's where the meat processors have got basically.
Oh yeah. By way of the USDA and the
Yeah.
FDA, the meat processors have a lock on the market. And they're
Yeah.
screwing the ranchers something fierce.
But what they're doing now, the ranchers have started pooling money. And last count I heard they had over $300 million. They were going to open their own slaughterhouses
Mhm.
Yeah, that would
and
be
sell direct to customers.
right.
Mhm.
And that's what the USDA has been trying to stop stuff like
at,
that
at the
happening.
behest of the meat
So
packers, they're
I am
paying
hopeful
through the nose.
that during this administration we might see some of that
That
start
would be
to
lovely.
Yeah.
some of those regulations get stripped out.
Local slaughterhouse would be so nice.
And of course I'm seeing people hyperventilating on X about The one that I saw today was about raw milk, and she's like, "Well, you can drink raw milk if you want," and she lists
Yeah.
off this whole thing. And I'm like, lady, I grew up drinking raw milk.
Yeah.
We milked our own goats and we drank it.
Everybody does realize that pasteurization of milk is a relatively recent thing,
Yeah.
and that
she's
people
not
drank
wrong.
raw milk for centuries.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she's not wrong that raw milk improperly handled can be an issue.
Anything
And
improperly handled can be an issue.
Right, exactly. And but that's the other thing is if you're having local producers, people will rise up in arms if you're making them sick.
Yeah.
And they can get to you if they're in the same community with you.
Yeah.
If they live,
Whereas some corporate guy that's in Chicago makes people
Doesn't
here in
care.
Texas sick. He doesn't care. People in Texas don't know who he is or how to get to him.
But if they ever find out,
Yeah, I know. But
Well-
but that's the thing is if you've got local meat production, local milk production, just local production,
Yeah.
you can make those people accountable.
oh yeah. Well, remember, let's not forget that raw milk and the Amish
That's
right.
what
pretty much won Pennsylvania for Trump.
180,000 Amish
Amish.
voters, 170,000 vote win.
Yes.
Yes.
the other thing though, packaging.
Be right back.
The whole issue with Land O'Lakes.
Mm.
They were forced to do a recall.
Oh my gosh.
They were forced to do a recall because you're going to love this. Cheese was not in, or cream
Butter.
was not listed as an ingredient in butter.
Yes. There was no allergen listing for milk and 80,000 pounds of butter.
So they had to take it all back and dump it.
Well,
This
recalls
is
are voluntary, and I'm gonna guess the vast majority of people are like, no, I'm not. I just paid $4 a pound for this damn butter. I'm not taking it back.
But the thing is,
I hope there's milk in it.
yeah,
Right?
it's kind of the basis of butter.
Mm.
But
Margarine.
the whole thing is, there will be loonies on the left that will use this as an excuse to sue Land O'Lakes.
Yeah, they'd also sue it for not saying does not contain nuts.
And here's the thing, which is margarine used to be illegal to
Yeah.
sell as a food product
Yes,
because it was considered adulterated butter.
Yep.
Butter had to have milk in it. It couldn't have adulterants in it like margarine.
Yeah.
And that got changed. And there's some interesting history behind why margarine got adopted. Large Jewish community in New York City, I just recently found out, was part of the early adoption and fast adoption of margarine because they can't use butter for cooking,
and
but
they
they
got
could
it
use margarine.
changed from gray to
Mhm.
butter colored.
Right.
Mm.
So-
The original margarine was gray.
Right. Well, it would be like
Nice.
shortening, kind of. Yeah, the whole antique cookbook project I'm doing right now is interesting to see what ingredients suddenly popped up all over the place and things.
Yeah.
Rabbit molasses that I did yesterday, all of those recipes called for shortening.
Yeah.
No lard, no butter, which I thought was strange in a 1920 cookbook.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was the deal with that.
Kermit said if the butter contains nuts, it came from the bull and isn't butter.
Ew.
That is a good one.
But I mean, that's the thing, which is, yes, the FDA was started in large part because of adulterated foods and highly questionable patent medicines.
Yeah.
Some of those.
Well, remember Olestra?
Mhm.
Now that was supposed to, get us away from using any kind of lard, any kind of
Mhm.
Crisco, any kind
That
of.
was the one that was supposed to be fat grabbing too
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
But here I remember that the first Frito-Lays that came out, was it like 87 or
Yeah.
something? And it was supposed to be the answer to, a high fat diet and everything.
Yeah.
And the chip bag said, I mean, I will never forget the very first ones of those. I mean, for number one, it did not taste the same. And they had a little warning, the little rectangle little caveat at the
Yeah.
back of the bottom of the packaging that said, may cause anal leakage.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'd rather be fat than have a leaking anus.
Yeah.
Call me weird.
So the problem with
Cholesterol.
The
Olestra.
problem with Olestra and with a number of other
Don't see-
similar
don't see that.
products like that is that they are not processed by the human body, so they are passed
Right.
through intact.
Yep.
And yeah. Similar to the 5 pounds of sugar-free gummy bears review that's infamous on Amazon.
Yeah. Or the whole saccharin thing.
Well,
No.
sugar alcohols, which is the artificial sweeteners of choice currently, are not processed by the human body, and they irritate the bowels, so the bowels shed water trying to rush them through, which has the inevitable consequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the amount of saccharin you would have to eat
hmm
for it to be a potential cancer causer
Oh, yes.
was like 4 pounds a day or some ridiculous
Well,
amount.
and that's the whole thing with people freaking out about the amount of pesticides in foods.
Yeah.
It's like, if you look at the LD50 on these things, and if you look at some of the studies where they're like, they gave mice cancer, they were feeding
Yeah.
the mice like 2 grams a day of
Yeah.
whatever this substance was, which is cruel, first of all.
Yeah, 1,000 times what
yeah.
normal consumption was.
Now, there are some issues that we're looking at now with a lot of the artificial sweeteners because they do trigger an insulin response.
Yeah.
So they're probably not doing the beneficial things for diabetics that they were pushed for years, because the body reacts to them as if they're sweet.
Yeah.
Which can actually lead to overcompensation, and then you wind up with low blood sugar, which is just as much trouble as high blood sugar.
Yeah.
It's, much more.
Mhm.
Well, when Joe and I were trying to come up with the old family recipes for pear preserves,
Yeah.
trying to find the right taste,
hmm
because I'm talking 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
So there's so much less sugar in it.
Yeah, there would have been less sugar, and you probably would have had less processed sugar. Did you guys try a cane sugar,
Yeah.
a demerara, or okay?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
And the cane sugar worked about right.
Okay.
The other issue was the right amount of pectin to get it to.
Yeah, that's
Firm up.
always a trick, and that
Yeah.
can vary from batch of fruit to batch of fruit.
Yeah.
Which makes it really tricky.
But I'm proud of the fact he sent me some for testing, and it's basically what I remember from a kid. being a kid.
Excellent. Yeah, it's difficult to replicate, especially old recipes,
Yeah.
because ingredients do change.
Well, not only that, but we've become so attuned to more sugars.
hmm
I mean, what do we eat today that doesn't have sugar in it?
Well, and Sanford and I were just talking about this. He asked me to buy. He calls them hot dogs. They're not. They're like these sausages that look like hot dogs. And I went and I looked at the package and I was like, honey, can we get something else? And he's like, yeah, sure. Because they had 7 grams of added sugar per link.
Yeah.
And I went and got, I think, like Nathan's all beef hot dogs, which have no added sugars in them, which was much better for me in the diet I'm on.
Sugar in hot dogs.
Because of the flavor thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, which is, as we increasingly went low fat over the last several decades, they would remove fat from things, which removes flavor, and they would add sugar because that adds back in flavor.
And then you have to add salt to balance the sugar.
Yeah.
Right. So you are
End up with a
making
vicious circle.
things. If you look at packaging for stuff that's low fat, it has inordinate amounts of sugar in it.
Yeah.
And it's, I just was looking at a paper a friend sent me of emulsifiers and how they affect the gut microbiome. And a lot of processed food uses emulsifiers. I was surprised because even the natural emulsifiers have a profoundly negative. So we use a lot of seaweeds,
Yeah.
carrageenans, and things like gum arabic or locust bean gum for emulsifiers. And even those have a profound effect on the gut microbiome.
Yeah.
And so the more your food is processed, the more issues you're introducing.
Mhm.
And I mean, processed food stores forever and it tastes predictable.
Yeah.
But we're finding that it's not the best for us.
No.
And
Yeah.
everyone wants to blame it on chemicals, which is like, yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
everything's chemicals.
Well, and as Nancy says, you really have to cook from scratch these days
Mhm.
because you need total control over what you're eating to avoid sugar, seed oils, trans fats, pesticides, etc.
The whole seed oils thing, I think, is a little blown out of proportion. There's probably some seeds
Yeah.
and some oils, but seed oils covers a lot of ground. So I
remember
think
when eggs were bad for us?
yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And
Mhm.
bacon was bad for us, and coffee was
Yeah.
bad for us, and wine was bad for us.
Yeah.
And why do we want to live?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's also another thing that, I mean, there's a huge psychological component to overcome the relative perception of taste and flavor
Mhm.
that is, and that can be so hard when you're trying to alter your diet or eat something
Mhm.
better. But you grew up eating Twinkies all the time. I mean, was it Zombieland where what's his name is looking for Twinkies because they're all gone. There will be no more Twinkies
Oh, yeah, yeah,
produced
yeah.
and everything. He's looking for the last Twinkies. The Woody guy from Cheers, that
Woody Harrelson.
Harrelson, yeah. That so anyway, there was. I'm sorry, this is a rabbit chase, so stay with me on this one. But anyway, there's an incredible show called Chef's Table. It's beautifully photographed, great music, and it's chefs from different cuisines all over the world. There's one episode on the cook that has a restaurant in St. Petersburg called White Rabbit in Russia. And he's talking about, and the episode is great because it opens up, he goes into a Russian cafeteria, and you've got the cafeteria ladies and the clink of the heavy crockery on the tables and all this, and all of your cafeteria sounds, it sounds like an American cafeteria except Russian. But anyway, he's talking about the Russian diet and how the Russian diet was fundamentally altered because of the revolution and what was available and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he was saying that pre-revolution Russia had a distinct and amazing, magnificent cuisine
Mhm.
and
And then we
culinary
got
tradition.
Lysenko.
But he was talking about, he goes into this cafeteria, and they're putting what looked to my eye unappetizing things on plates, kind of gelatinous and
Mhm.
jiggling and whatever, vague saucy gravy looking things and such. And he's saying, and he's
Probably
speaking
borscht.
he's speaking in Russian, and he says, objectively, I know this is shit. He said, I know this is not good food, but I love it. I love this. I have to confess to my soul, I love this
It's what he
because
grew up
it's
with.
what he grew up with.
Yeah.
And the truth of it is, I could never make so much money that I would not love Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
And that
And
that nuclear orange
Yeah.
cheese that may have been in the room with cheese once. I don't know. I don't care. I love the way it tastes. And the fancy ones with the high tone white cheese
Yeah.
that you can get, not as good, honestly.
and I grew up.
And I'm right about that. You know I am.
I grew up, we cooked everything from scratch, and I learned how to cook from scratch. And to this day, I am more likely to cook from scratch than I am to
Mhm.
cook processed stuff just because
Yeah.
it's the way I work. And my husband objects if I do like 4 or 5 cheese baked macaroni because he wants the orange stuff in the box.
Yeah.
Because that's what he grew up with.
What
I approve.
what I most remember about the episode, the Russian episode Rita's talking about,
Oh, don't say it. Oh, it breaks my heart. Oh.
is this shocked soprano voice, not the moose lips.
It's true. I have to, if I rewatch the episode, I have to forward through the moose lips. They have moose, like
Yeah.
a moose farm, and they go out and there's the baby moose. They're giving it a big bottle of milk and it's glomming on, it's like
Uh-huh.
baby moose lips, and they're so adorable. It's like a gigantic bunny rabbit, only it could kill you.
Yeah.
And all of this, and then anyway, the next thing they show like a tray, like a plate sliding across that metal thing from the chef to the servers to take out to the people, and it's moose lips.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, no. It's my Point Break moment. No! Anyway,
Well,
not the moose lips.
the other thing too,
They were so cute.
you talk about the cafeterias. People my generation, we grew up with either F.W. Woolworth. That was high end eating out for us, other than a real restaurant.
Yeah.
But the Luby's,
Furs.
Piccadilly cafeterias, the automats up in
Oh,
New
I
York.
miss Piccadilly's.
Yeah.
the food tasted good
Right.
because they didn't short.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, a lot of stuff was done with lard too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is the transition from fats to sugars changed a lot of it. The transitions to fast foods, processed foods, TV dinners,
Yeah.
that altered the way the American people ate in profound ways.
And also,
That-
alternated our body chemistry too.
Yes, exactly. Because your gut microbiome adapts to your diet.
Yeah.
And so whether or not we can reverse this, I honestly don't know because a lot of people that just don't know how to cook.
Well, yeah, they don't know how to cook.
And I also
They have
firmly
no clue how to
believe
budget.
that the government has no business regulating stuff like what we eat and drink.
No.
Because it has been shown that putting a high soda tax on so people don't drink sugar sodas, sin taxes don't work.
Yeah.
Well, also,
So we have to. This is an education thing.
well, there's also the enormous moral dilemma that so much of the FDA is funded by the pharmaceutical companies who
Mhm.
benefit from poor diet.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
can keep you in this cycle, I mean, it's a negative feedback loop, but they're benefiting.
Mhm.
Why should they be paying? I mean, how can they pay for? It's immoral. It's a
Well, and then the other part of the equation, as far as the obesity epidemic gets into that I don't necessarily see people talking about, and this begins very early. It's all interconnected to the whole thing I was talking about preschools. Our kids don't play, and no one is physically active.
Yeah.
And no one's outside. No one's doing hard physical labor. No one is putting in the time and effort to make sure that they're exercising on a daily
unless
basis.
they're twerking. Twerking is work.
Well, I mean, twerking is exercise. So if they're doing that for an hour or two a day, sure, why not? Whatever.
Well, the issue becomes is parents are getting arrested for kids doing what we did growing up.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And this is
Feral kids.
this is this thing I've been following this guy's blog, and he's a doctor, he's a researcher, and his thing is play, and he's talking about the fact that you can't just let your kid go outside and play anymore, because you're going to get in trouble. And so he's talking about how to create safe places for kids to be able to play without interfering in their play, because so many adults, if they're outside supervising a bunch of kids playing, they want to be all up in the kids' business and make sure that they're running the show, and that's not what kids need.
Don't climb that tree.
Helicopter
Right.
parents.
Well, there's also that the lifestyle habits that are so different now. Like you have to have a drink at all times when you go anywhere, and it's one thing if you're going hiking in Big Bend, you need to take a gallon of water with you.
Yeah.
We don't have
At
to take
minimum.
if I'm driving into the nearby town, I don't have to have a drink with me at all times, and that's very different. Because remember, like when we're running around neighborhoods and doing whatever stuff we were doing when we were kids, that where you got your drink was the nearest hose, because shut the door,
Yeah.
go in or out, get out. Sorry for yelling, but remember that? Remember, like
We never
dinner's
got
at
let
6.
in. It was always there. The damn faucet's over there.
Dinner's at 6.
Yeah. I mean, good chunk of my childhood we didn't have a hose, but yes,
Yep.
I hauled the water from my grandfather's house, which was where the nearest electricity and the well was. So I would haul jerry cans of water using whichever transportation. If it was snowy, it was a sled. If it was sunny, it was a wagon, or pack them on the horse. I mean, but no, we didn't have, and growing up, I never had sugary drinks because that was just, we couldn't afford it. We were poor.
Well, we hate Kool-Aided a lot. But,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid, and the other thing I remember is Tang.
Yeah, we did get Tang from occasion. That was actually a favorite. And do you know that the Tang they make now is not the Tang you used to be able to get?
I believe that.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some a couple of years ago for nostalgia purposes.
Right, exactly. Same reason.
It's not where you left it.
No.
It's not.
They've taken the sugar out of it. It's artificially sweetened now. It tastes
But
awful.
yeah, but the thing going about talking about lard, I've made lard biscuits for y'all,
Hmm.
and they went away.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were gone.
The biscuits I made
Yeah.
a couple Sundays ago when we had Sunday
Yeah.
breakfast in my house, those were lard biscuits.
But if you get whomp biscuits, half of them will be left over.
Well, and those, if you
Because
look at
of-
the list of ingredients on
Yeah.
there, and again, I am not advocating for the rampant chemophobia that we have in this country. And there are reasons to have stabilizers and
Right.
preservatives in food, especially food that's you're picking up at a that's yours. Especially food that you're picking up at a supermarket because it's come in from God knows where,
Yeah.
that took God knows how long, and you need it to be safe. I mean, my first lab job was working in a lab testing food to make sure that it was safe,
Mm,
which includes stability, where we stuck it in a fridge and watched it and
Yeah.
tested it periodically to see just how long does this last. That's where best buy dates come from. It's from
Yeah.
the work that we did. So I'm not saying that this food is bad. I'm just saying that you're looking at very different things between the processed, the whomp biscuits, and the nice fresh hot biscuits that you just mixed up using some lard.
But the thing to me is, we need to get away from a lot of the processing because it's really not necessary. You know, we've pretty much got refrigeration everywhere.
Yeah, biscuits are different, but yes, in general, I know what you're talking about.
I would
Um,
like to get away from the. I'd like to get back to using lard and
Yeah.
tallow and.
Yeah,
Honestly.
Yeah.
it would be nice to see that get back to being more normalized. We were just talking about chicken fat, schmaltz,
Yeah.
duck
Mhm.
fat, tallow, lard. Those
Yeah.
are all lovely animal
Ghee,
fats,
yeah.
and they're great for you.
And how
So-
about some big ups to Napoleon for inspiring the development of canning of food?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes.
That was brilliant.
Well,
Ghee may be a bigger problem because Costco apparently didn't realize that butter might have milk in it.
You were out of the you were out
Yeah,
of the
well, I've
room.
already
We
covered
haven't-
that one.
You already
Yeah.
had that
Yeah, we've done margarine too.
Oh.
one? Margin was such a
At
bad
Olestra. Well, you came back at the Olestra point. of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've wasted another hour of your time, folks.
But was it really wasting?
And if y'all like to see more Rita, please let her know.
Yeah.
I think you've seen plenty.
Bacon grease keeper, yes.
I might-
Yes.
I might belch for
That's what the
you.
old coffee cans were for. Was you keep your bacon grease in one, your sausage grease in the other, and your chorizo grease in the third one.
Yep. I use jars, and they live on the counter next to the stove
Yeah.
because I use it so fast it's not going bad.
Yeah.
I will buy bacon just to make bacon grease. Bacon's secondary.
For you, maybe.
I wouldn't
Well,
say
no, I mean-
Yeah.
It's a bonus.
Remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Pet this
And we will see you later.
way.
Bye bye.